And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Premier League show. I can't say we've started the week this week because Shah started it last night with the new Absolutely Non-League show, of course, that starts on a Monday. We're on a Tuesday. We're here to talk Premier League, absolutely Premier League. I apologise in advance. My camera has died and gone to camera heaven just before the start. There is no link at all to the fact that Liverpool won the title. I'm sure there's no hoodoo that links the two things together, but it hasn't gone well. So apologies. I'm a bit pixelated tonight. Maybe it's better. Who knows? But thank you everybody for joining us as we're going to talk Premier League, FA Cup. There's Champions League going on and Rochdale, of course. Let's not forget Rochdale, Dorking Wanderers as well. Plenty of games going on. But of course, we'll go to the wonderful two podcasts already. It's not even Tuesday and she's doubled up. Charlotte is here. How are you?
I'm really, really good, thank you. Last night's podcast I thought went really, really well. What a team we've got as well. So anybody good in the chat, if you've not seen it, you can always catch up. You've got time to. But yeah, going really well. Don't want to be rude as well. If anybody sees me looking in that direction, I promise I'm not ignoring you all. I've got the Dale game on. We are absolutely battering Solihull Moors at the minute, chance-wise. Just can't score, so you all know what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm good. How are you, Sam? Take a breath now, I shall.
I'm doing all right, thank you. Yes, not too bad, aside from the technical issues tonight. But yeah, I did on last night. Fantastic. Our first non-league football show. So if you're into, even if you're not into non-league football, do it and get involved because it's really informative. The new team that we've got on there were really fantastic.
Brilliant.
And it was an excellent show. So I'm doing all right. And of course, to make up our terrific Tuesday trio, it is Rebecca. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Stressed with uni. End of the year is coming up, so it's just assignment after assignment now, but we're getting there with it. I'm excited to talk Scottish Prem for once. I'm happier with that than I am Everton, which hasn't happened recently. It's either both been a bit meh or Everton have done well and the Scottish Prem's let me down. But yeah, no, excited to be back on.
You can never have it the same. Shah and I never win at the same weekend. I think Rochdale are not allowed to win on the same weekend. It seems to be something in the air. It's not allowed. So this is it. One up, one down. But talking of up, we have the fantastic group chat going on. We have Graham as well, into the absolute dream team, of course, using all the emojis. Of course, if you remember, you can use the new Shah emoji. More to come. I think we have to get more members, and then we can bring more emojis. But if you want Shah to appear and you remember, just type Lecky into your screen. And away you go. Hello as well to Richard. Evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Hey guys, girls and guys. Hello Emily. Thank you for joining us too. And of course, everyone's having a nice chinwag in the chat, which isn't that lovely.
I love that.
It's very nice. We love the community having a good chinwag. But we have to address the elephant in the room, the starter. We are here on a day which look. Rebecca and I are not Liverpool fans. I think that's fair to say. As a Man United and Everton fan,
really, we've not made that clear, have we?
No, I don't think so. No, this isn't easy for us, of course, but we must address it. Liverpool have, of course, won the Premier League title. You have to say, and for me, this is always an important thing. If you're a football supporter, you have to follow the mantra that the team that wins the league is the best team in the league. The league table never lies. At the end of the season, never lies. You have to have that, otherwise it loses it. Even if you don't like it, and we don't like it. However, congratulations to Liverpool. They've won the title, etc. So I'll come to, because of course Rebecca and I maybe through gritted teeth, but Charlotte is here to give us some context. Liverpool have won the Premier League. Reaction, Shah.
Do you know what the funniest thing was? Like, at first it was just going to be used to, weren't it? And I was like, oh no, well, come on, absolutely fine. And when you said to me, are you all right talking about Liverpool? I thought, I probably dislike Liverpool as much as used to, and I'm a Rochdale fan. But I will take comfort of the team. Them winning the league, you can't really disagree with it. They have been the best team overall this season. Even despite having that little blip as well, they have obviously been a better team. Arsenal obviously dropping points as well. They could have utilised on it. I don't think they would have ever caught them, even if obviously they didn't drop the points. But yeah, I thought they've done really, really well, to be fair. Obviously, Salah is just Mohamed Salah, exceptional. And I'm so happy that he has signed the extended contract, because I feel for the Premier League, I love watching Salah. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And I didn't really want him going to Saudi, because I feel like the Premier League needs us sort of players, despite them obviously playing for Liverpool. We're not really fond of them, but we are very excited to watch. Arne Slot, I think he's done well. Obviously, his first season there, I didn't really know what to expect with him, because obviously we're so used to Jurgen Klopp being there. And I think I've really, really took to Arne Slot, to be fair. I think he's quite a chill character, doesn't give too much away. I think he's quite honest as well, though, to be fair, especially in his interviews. I do like listening to him. But one thing I do feel like with Liverpool is I feel like the foundations were there for Liverpool after Jurgen Klopp left. I feel like he left them in a really good place. Still don't know what's going on with Trent. Van Dijk as well, really positive from that aspect. But yeah, I feel like Liverpool have done obviously really well this season. But as I said, I think the foundations were there. Going on to the game in general, this made me laugh, because I actually watched some of this game. I was flicking between obviously the Liverpool and the Manchester City game, because I thought, even though I thought, do you know what? It's Tottenham at the end of the day. It's Spurs. They're not going to do anything. I saw the goal, and watching that goal, honestly, Anfield were deadly silent after Solanke scored. I bet they thought, oh no, what's going on?
But we've got the banners out and everything, damn it.
No.
They took the blue flares.
Oh, that was funny. That was so funny, the blue flares. But yeah, I was like, yes, Solanke scored. What's going to happen? But obviously, Spurs being Spurs, there was a little bit of that obviously involved. But Liverpool then obviously took it upon themselves, and they played very, very well. Luis Diaz obviously scoring the equaliser. McAllister, that's someone who I rate this player, McAllister. I think he's so good, so underrated. I loved him for Brighton, and I think he's doing such a good job at Liverpool as well. Somebody who's not really got as much credit this season, but has also chipped in with quite a lot of goals, Cody Gakpo getting the third one. I don't think he's really had much of a mention this season, but I feel like he's chipped in quite a lot. But yeah, he got the third one before half time, and then second half again. They were just too good for Tottenham. Tottenham really did crumble under Ange. I think it's an ongoing thing for them as well at the minute. They're not in great form, really, are they? I still am a bit uncertain with Ange. I don't know if he's still got his job because of obviously Europa at the minute. I think despite whatever happens with Europa, he will leave at the end of the season. But yeah, Mohamed Salah obviously getting on the score sheet for the fourth goal. And then it was an own goal, the fifth one. But somebody I did want to mention as well, who I don't think does get enough credit as well, is Szoboszlai. I thought he had a really, really good game. He got 2 assists as well. But yeah, can't really take anything away from Liverpool this season. They have been a better team. They play some really good football as well. I think it will be really interesting to see next season, if they'll bring any players in. With Slot as well, who's on his hit list and not hit list, sorry. It's not gangster. On his target list. I know. Bloody yeah. I'm not giving any spoilers away, anyone. I promise he's a lovely man.
Change of career.
I know. On his target list. I know there's some obviously speculation. Will they get Perquez from Bournemouth, who I really, really rate him. I think he's a really good player. I know he's one player they are interested in. A couple of the forward players as well they've been linked to, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll make too many signings, especially with obviously Van Dijk and Salah staying. I think it was more rumours and stuff, not knowing what's going to happen here and there. It'll be interesting what happens with Andy Robertson as well, because I feel like he's getting older now. He's aging. Will they keep him for another season? I'm not too sure if he's in contract. Will he go? Kind of thing as well. So yeah, I think next season is going to be a little bit more of a test for Arne Slot. I think Liverpool have been brilliant, but I think obviously some of the other teams have been dropping points, Arsenal especially as well. So yeah, that's I think I've picked him up enough, if that's okay.
Enough, yeah. That would. To be fair, this is it. There's been, they've been far above any kind of challenge that they've had, and for it to be Slot's first season, even though yes, he has inherited a great team from Klopp, but he's done very well, hit the ground running. Those players have improved. As you said, Szoboszlai is one that's improved immensely this season. Cody Gakpo had come in for season; he's another one that came in brilliantly. Gravenberch was sensational this season for them. Has been an absolute sort of key, as well as the ones like Salah and Van Dijk that obviously get a mention. And talking of people that deserve a mention, we've had some wonderful people arrive in the chat while we've been talking. Driti's here. We would love it when Driti's here. Lovely to see you. Welcome to the chat. Graham says that you are the UN peacekeeper, apparently, of the Liverpool Champions chat. So, there you go.
I'm proud. I'm going to put it on my CV. If I ever want another job in life, that is going to be top of my CV.
That is the one to go to. Hello to Heather. Heather and I friends, of course, as well. We were sharing points at the weekend. Football friends. And as well, Emily as well. Lovely because Emily tends to join the Team Chaos. I forget the sort of name it is. So it's lovely that you come to join us as well. We need a name on a Tuesday night. I don't know what it is. We've got Rowdy Rabble Team Chaos, and we need one for a Monday and Tuesday. So the chat, you can tell us what you think that the team should be called. We've got as well. Aled is in tonight as well. Hello to you, and as well hello to Spenny fan Chris. He's just finished his work. He's on his way to the train station. It's all going on. Sean is saying that Arsenal are being arses as usual. I presume that's still 1-0 PSG. The last time we saw that, of course, the
Live
Champions League going on tonight. Why not? Richard talking about they've been a good team and a consistent team. I think how close it is second to seventh shows how much the other teams have taken points of each other. It really has. The competitive. It's one of those like the top teams haven't been able to sustain enough of a challenge. You said, Charles, when they had that slight wobble, there was no one on the tail to really sort of test, like in the past. City have been there.
The rest of them started dropping points, didn't they? Especially Arsenal.
But I think it was also attributed to the fact that you've got teams that have jumped up to the mix, like your Nottingham Forest, even your Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth, even Brentford, and those kind of teams as well have kind of come back up, and that's what's happened. I think is they've taken the points off. They've kind of done that, and Liverpool have just been able to be the most consistent and been very good. Emily is an LFC girly, so we do have one. She much prefer the women to the men, but we'll just swap the Premier League for the Women's FA Cup over the league all day long. But really pleased for the men, like so deserved. Fantastic. So yes, it has. It's been a crazy win for Liverpool. I don't really want to put Rebecca on the on the spot with it, but go on, Rebecca. You can talk about the blue flares. What's the blue flares all about? Was that you?
Did you sell them?
Are you responsible?
No, that wasn't me. Although if that was, I think I'd have been very chuffed with myself. No. There was an Everton fan, and it was going on Twitter for quite a while. And this was like weeks in the planning, where they bought a bunch of blue flares, spent the time to unwrap them all of the red all of the blue packaging, wrap them in red, and then resell them, which was absolutely incredible because it worked. So Liverpool are there doing their coach welcome, and this is on the actual Liverpool Instagram. When they're panning round, there's just loads of blue flares going off in the middle of all of the red. And then there was also a video that was circulating of someone letting a blue flare off in the Kop, as all of the Liverpool fans are singing the song, which I refuse to mention. They're all there singing that as this cloud of blue appears in the Kop. Which was just great. I didn't watch any of the match. It was a case of I watched GB men's ice hockey because that went to extra time and penalties. They won, which was great. And then watched the FA Cup. So I stayed away from all of the match. So I can't really comment on much apart from Everton and the Blue Flares and just how great we are.
There you go. If there's shithouser in its plan, it always makes it even better. Emily says on the transfers, she says that thinks they're going to make a splash in an FSG manager with a couple of statement signings along with 2 or 3 others. Well, and the reality is they didn't spend last summer really. Well, didn't spend at all.
No, they didn't.
There was links, wasn't there, late with I forget what's the DM's name, was it Zubimendi, wasn't it? They were linked to very late. Didn't happen. And therefore, you've got to imagine that there's some sort of put by ready to do so. They've obviously spent a vast amount of that on probably some of the contracts, I would have thought. But if Trent goes, that's going to open up another door. As you said, left back, Kirkes is one that I think there's a lot of interest in, because I think for me, he's been the standout left back in the Premier League. There's been a couple of good left backs. I think Anthony Robinson been very good for Fulham as well. But I do think that Kirkes has been really, really good. I think there's a few in for him. And then I think someone up front, probably something else in midfield. I think it's squad depth now for them. They'll all benefit off winning the title. So there we go. What a great time if you're a Liverpool fan. I'm sure it's lovely. And we're very happy for you. But there we go. We've done it. Sorted. It's in the history books now. Liverpool are the champions. Let's look forward to next season and what could potentially happen.
Really spat my drink out, man.
Did you see? I think it was like Tony Bellew's tweet, and he was like, "Yeah, Everton fans were not bitter at all," and he put like a whole paragraph on it. It was like, credit where credit's due. They've done great this season. Like it's been well deserved. Congratulations, Celtic, on winning the league. It just summed up Everton fans in one tweet.
Love that.
Summed it up. To be fair, I did hear from our wonderful Josh. He did message me after the game to tell me his feelings, and he was happy. Let's just surmise.
I love that for Josh.
Yeah, it's good for him. He's had that victory and that win for him. As I know, we joked obviously the COVID season, etc., and you can kind of put it down as that. But if you win something, you don't get the chance to celebrate it. So for Josh, very happy for you. Very happy you have your moment in the sun.
I feel like I need good karma, so I'm very happy for Josh, very happy for Liverpool fans. Now, please, Dale, score a goal.
Yes, score a goal.
Nice. Do it, good karma.
Battering down Leon Moores. They just need one. That's all we're looking for. But we're going to move on to a different.
Sorry, before we do, they enjoyed pointing out the fact that they actually quite enjoyed Tarkowski's goal now in the 2-2 Merseyside derby, because that point meant that they were able to win the league at home rather than having to win it away.
It's so charitable. So charitable.
We did our part in that, so
added to the celebration. And there was more celebrations. It was the FA Cup semi-finals this weekend. So I think everyone's been quite excited about the FA Cup this year, because outside of Man City, it's looked like a bit of a free-for-all. But it seems to now be going to type. But we'll talk about the first one first, which was Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Of course, Aston Villa sadly knocked out of Europe after a fantastic effort against PSG in the last round. And Rebecca 3-0. 3-0 to Crystal Palace. Absolutely blew Villa away kind of on the day. Some excellent finishing. What did you make of that one? Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final.
Yeah, it was. I was a bit shocked in terms of I did think it would be more Villa, especially trying to bounce back from the defeat in Europe. But I mean, fair play to Palace. They turned up, and so did the fans. I mean, the display that they put on, although it would have killed me if I was stood in the middle of it with all the flares. I mean, fair play to them. They put in the effort and got behind the team, and it was a really good one. But yeah, it was fair play to Palace. I mean, it is great to see another team able to get up there and into the cup final, and they do deserve it. They have been quite a challenging team to be playing against this season. It's just one of them where Villa they just weren't on it, it seemed. Few chances, but Palace were just Palace. And yeah, fair play to him. I do apologise, Graham, for saying this, because I don't think he was as thrilled with this one. He's got 2 matches that he doesn't want to hear about today. But yeah, it was. And especially happy for Eze, because, I mean, he's a standout player for them, and his goal was just incredible. And I do feel as though he is the standout, and he is one where they keep him fit, especially with what we've seen. He is a very talented player. So for him to go and score, it was good for him. And then Saw had in 2 as well. So it was very well done to Palace, and I really hope that they can go on and win it now. I apologise to Palace because I think I may have just jinxed you, but we just want someone else to go and do it. Anyone but City at this point. And it's like, please, Palace, because they've got everything behind them to be able to do it. They've already started their GoFundMe for their next signs and everything at Wembley next time. And I think it's like Dean Henderson's donated £500 to it. Aww. So, which is like a really nice thing for him to do as well. And I mean, fair play to him, like some of the saves he were pulling off as well. It's just, well done, Palace.
This is it. They were very good, and so they were very good in front of goal. But Sarr in particular has come on really well. The second half of the season, he's become a kind of real standout for them. He's been excellent. And the thing for me, I think they scored quite quickly after. I think it was. I was trying to think who had the chance. Was it Tyrick Mitchell? The ball came across and he mishit. There was he didn't even connect with it with his sort of weaker foot as it came across, and it was like a real kind of.
I think it was.
And one of those you're thinking, oh no, a semi can kind of turn on that kind of. You saw it with the when we'll come on to in a minute, the Forest game, wasn't it? When sort of Gibbs White hit the post and then it sort of the game turns again. You felt worried from a Palace perspective that had happened, but their finishing was really, really good. And you did think, I don't know, with Villa, Shah, do you think it's a case of there's been a lot for them this season? They're still in the hunt for European places. There's a big European campaign. The squad's improved, and they've been able to use that really well. But do you just think it was a case of one match too far for them?
Yeah, I think obviously with everything going on at the moment, especially with the Champions League and how well they did, to be fair, to nearly get it back against PSG, I think obviously that's tired them out as well. FA Cup, I think just the season, how it's going, they've had a lot of minutes, a lot of games and stuff. They are starting to look quite tired. Obviously, they didn't have Rashford either, did they? He's now injured. I think he's actually out for the rest of the season. From what I've heard.
Loan's over now, yeah.
So that's actually quite a big loss for them because I feel like with Rashford, to be fair, he was playing very, very well at Aston Villa. Him and Asensio together linked up very, very well. They really did excite me watching them. But yeah, I feel like for Aston Villa as well, I think it's been a very good season for them, regardless of obviously them getting beaten in the Champions League. I don't think anybody would have expected them to go that far, especially the first season they've been in it in a very long time. Semi-final, it's one of them on the day, could go either way. They didn't play very well. Crystal Palace did. Obviously, it was Palace's on the day. I think now we just need to try and get that Champions League spot. Again, if they can. Burton have scored, by the way. I don't know if you saw Rebecca, sorry. But yeah, I think it's still a very, very good season for them. Still punching above the weight as well, to be honest, because I think last season, Emery did extremely well. I think this season, obviously, they've utilised on that. And I know that Dorking have equalised now. They've not obviously won any.
Team talk.
I know. They've not won anything, but I feel like now with Aston Villa, they are making a statement, not just in the Premier League, in all the trophies that they're in obviously the Champions League and European football, but they're signing a lot of really good names as well, Aston Villa. They are like showing that they are like a big club. And I really like what they're doing. I think they play some very good football. And you know how much I like Emery as well. I think he's a very, very good manager. And I think they will go from strength to strength.
Yeah, and as you said, that experience in the Champions League, they just kind of want it again, and they want to get back there. And they've been a club that's been growing consistently and the right way in the last sort of few years. And they did. They went for it in January and went, we're going to back them, and we're going to back the boys to have a real go in the Champions League. And so close to the most incredible comeback against Paris Saint-Germain, in the quarterfinals, which would have been something else. I mean, so looking at the table, they're in 7th, not, still doable. Still very much possible. They're just got to make sure that they can, sort of re-galvanise for the final games of the season and see whether they can get themselves in there. So by no means for Villa a bad one. But Crystal Palace, we will see. We'll see. They face an opponent that we'll come on to in a minute. But just need to make sure this time they don't have any of the Alan Pardew dancing that we saw in the last time they got there against. As soon as he did that against Manchester United, I was like, we've got this. That's going to be a meme. What have you done, Alan? You just set it off. So yeah, if Graham doesn't want that to happen, you need to ring him up and get him dancing on that touchline. But the big problem that we've got, Shah, is that Manchester City are back in the FA Cup final, 3 FA Cup finals in a row, and I mean, Nottingham Forest hit the woodwork about 716 times, it seemed, in that second half. You know, if you watch a game when you're just like, it's just not your day. How bad was that for Forest, and how close on so many opportunities?
Honestly, it was so frustrating watching it. I saw a stat as well, to be fair. I think it was Manchester City's 7th. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I don't know it. It's going to show up. I think it was the 7th consecutive semi-final. Sorry, it's happening now. Can I just look? And I promise
it's all happening. We're gonna go live to Shah at Scotland, and we'll come back to the FA Cup semi-final in a moment.
I think it's happening on here because I am a bit behind.
There's a goal gone in for the mighty Rochdale.
Come on, please hurry up now! Hurry up! I don't even know who scored either. It's just come up 1-0. I'm hoping it's not a mistake or flash score.
A mistake. Rochdale going to make that.
Of course.
Last Champions League place. Hendo, the goat.
Yeah.
The goat.
It's happening.
Feed the goat and he will score. He will score.
Oh, what a goal as well.
It's quality.
What a goal. Sorry about that, by the way.
I told you, I've been telling you for half a season, this is Henderson, playoff final, last kick of his career. It's happening. It's there. I'm making it happen. I'm envisaging it, and I'm gonna boo all the buses in the playoffs, whoever you play, for that extra bit of luck.
Honestly, if anybody sees these highlights, please look at that goal. What a really good goal. But yeah, on to the game, the Manchester City Forest game. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. I'm sure I saw a stat that it was Manchester City's 7th consecutive semi-final. So obviously that shows the amount of quality. And I feel like, even though Nottingham Forest, did play very, very well, I feel like with Manchester City, the season they've had so far, it's not gone very well, has it? They have been very inconsistent this season. So I feel like they will want to win the FA Cup and they'll go the extra mile to try and win that trophy this season. But yeah, Rico Lewis obviously scored. I really like Rico Lewis as well, to be fair. I think he's a very, very good young player. Looks really good. Kovacic is one player I do want to give a mention to. I thought he was absolutely outstanding this game. Like, he must have covered most blades of grass on that Wembley pitch. He was absolutely exceptional. And I feel like he's one of them players as well, where when Manchester City signed him, they didn't really, they liked him as a top player, but they weren't overly keen on the fact. And I feel like when he's played recently, he has been really, really good. Kovacic, I feel like he's getting better and better each game that I do see him. And I just wanted to give, obviously, a shout out to him. Gvardiol obviously got the second goal for them, and Mamouche assist as well, someone who I really rate, and I think he's going to be brilliant. Like, we're seeing glimpses of him already. So you think when he actually properly settles into the Premier League, he's going to be unstoppable, him. Just pre-warning everyone, next season will be his season. If you think Haaland's good, Mamouche is going to be like really exceptional. Good, yeah. Nottingham Forest point of view as well. I feel like it was such a frustrating game for them. Obviously, the occasion itself, it's amazing seeing them in a semi-final against Manchester City. How far they have come. I know a couple of seasons ago, we were like having a laugh about them, like, all the players he'd signed, the points deduction. But I feel like they've done that for this and to build the team, obviously. And then Nuno's come in, and I'm so happy with how well Nuno's doing. I feel like Nuno needed this after obviously what we saw him at Spurs. He went to Saudi, he's come back, and he's kind of reminded us all what a great manager he actually is. But yeah, the game itself, the chances he had, obviously Chris Wood had chances, Gibbs White as well. it just got to the point where you just thought, and I bet all the Nottingham Forest fans thought as well, it's just not going to be our day. Wow. The amount of chances we've had, what went so close, like the Gibbs White one off the bar. He's exceptional, by the way. He's done really well this season. Dawkins 2-1.
Turned it around, back in business.
Yeah, but I feel like with Manchester City as well, and as much as I really want Crystal Palace to beat them, because I think it'd be amazing for a new person to win the trophy, I just feel like with Manchester City and how their season has gone, that they'll have all eyes on the trophy and they will go the extra mile. And I know a couple of weeks ago, we did see Crystal Palace take the lead, didn't we, against Manchester City? We all thought, here we go. Is it going to happen? But then obviously the quality that they've got, I just don't see anything but a Manchester City win. But my predictions are always wrong. So
who knows? Who knows in FA Cup final? But exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think that game, I remember I watched that game and Palace were very good early. And it was the case of Palace destroyed them early on. And then second half, like City were fantastic in that game.
Arsenal?
Level?
Yeah.
1-0 Arsenal back in business. Mourinho, the makeshift striker. Mikel Mourinho, someone check Crab's heart, his blood pressure. Crab is jumping around on his sofa.
Tarring off. We've took Tarring off.
Resting him for the playoff shot, for the big ones.
Yeah,
Also, as Nick says, a big shout to Zach Abbott, 18, making his second Forest. Imagine that, making his second Forest start in a semi-final of an FA Cup. That's incredible, isn't it? So, yeah, big shout out to him because he did himself justice for sure. And the other one I really like in the Man City squad that's come is O'Reilly.
Very good.
Such balance that man when he comes through. And you just think that some of these youngsters are starting to come in. You can see them very better. I'd say Gvardiol's goal, I think he scored more goals than any other defender so far this year in the Premier League. Despite the fact they're not there. He's such a threat, such a goal-scoring threat as well. But as Grimmy says, he's no Harry Maguire. He is no Harry Maguire. The forehead of destiny. You can never deny. But yeah, so it will be Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. That is the FA Cup final, and we'll see what happens when it happens. But we'll go back. We're going to go back to the Premier League, and we're going to let Rebecca have a moment of solace before joy at the end when we go up north to Scotland. Tell us all about what happened at Stamford Bridge, Rebecca.
Well, I was watching it on my way to Walsall for the Accrington match, which we'll be covering on Thursday. So me and my dad are sat there with it on my phone, but Tarkowski was missing his first ever match for Everton. Since he signed, he's never missed a match, and he did his hamstring against City, and that's his season done. So that's him not playing at Goodison again as well. So he was out. When we played City, we did end up with Michael Keane coming on because we tried to keep it as like the exact same as he just filled in for Tarkowski, and that didn't work very well. So thankfully, Moyes has noticed, and then we brought in Nathan Patterson instead. So we had Jake O'Brien and Jared as our two centre-backs, Miko and Patterson left and right back. So we did go for what we've had in the past, but it was a very frustrating first half for us. It just looked, we were lacking quality, and we just let Chelsea run all over us. Like the chances they were having were just like, we had to call on Pickford every chance that we got. And it was, if it weren't for Jared, Jake and Pickford, we could have been about 3-4-0 down in the first half. It was a very annoying goal to concede, Nicholas Jackson, I think it was. We did come out a lot better in the second half. We made a few changes later on as well. So we saw the likes of Dwight McNeil coming on, game changer for us. Having him back is brilliant, but I do feel as though we are edging closer to him starting, which will be better for us later, for the last few remaining ones of the season. We did have quite a few decent chances, which did challenge Sanchez, but I think he's pulled off one at Saves at Season with his one at with Dwight McNeil's chance, where it's I think Alcaraz is crossing, Dwight just hits it, an incredible save from Sanchez. So fair play to them, and it could have gone either way. If it's a case of if he didn't show up like he did, then we could have got a point from it. But it was he turned up and his saves were incredible. I think we had I don't think we had our first shot until just near enough half time, and that was Doucouré's header that went out was more towards the corner flag than it was at goal. So it was one of them that just summed up our match in terms of we had the chances but just couldn't do anything with it. And of course Sanchez was on form and incredible saves. But hopefully bounce back. Ipswich on Saturday. So we've been mathematically safe for a bit now. I think now is just the battle of who can finish higher, us or United, and I think that's all me and Sam are looking at for the rest of the season now.
It is the biggest thing that could happen in the Premier League this season, and when we come to the table, we'll have a look. The battle for 14th is well and truly on. It's a huge battle. I mean, 13th is within reach, Rebecca. We could hit some dizzy heights there, and we can also be further down. But we're looking at those massive numbers.
Positive thinking. I like it, guys.
This is it. The battle for 14th.
1 point between us, and I think is it Tottenham and they're close but not close enough. So I don't think they're as in on this battle yet. So it's just going to be between me and Sam for the last, is it 3 matches at season now?
I'm just picking picking the table up here. I'll have to put it on the other screen because I can't see that on my smaller screen. So we are United 39, Wolves 41, Everton 38, Tottenham 37, West Ham 36. Good God, we could finish 17th, couldn't we? That is a real possibility. That is a real possibility.
It's mad how close it is.
Yeah, this is it. Playing for those vital places. I mean, and look at Wolves' form. We'll come on to Wolves in a minute because gee whiz, they've put in a hell of a run. That's I think 6 wins in a row for Wolves. That's absolutely insane. So they're well up there. But let's say it's a loss to Chelsea, but brighter times ahead for Everton, Rebecca, isn't it? It's more positivity around the corner. So we said Wolves, and because I know that the man for Wolves, the man that did the business, one of Shah's favourites, he's been heavily linked with a team that I like. 6 wins in a row for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, put some respect on Vitor Pereira's name. No one has mentioned that man all season, and they've been something else recently.
Honestly, right? I've come on here this season. And I just feel like, and no disrespect to Gary O'Neill, but Wolves now are an absolute pleasure to watch. The fast-flowing attacking football, and I've enjoyed watching them for a while now. I think they have some really, really good players as well. Some that are completely gone under the radar. I feel like they have these, similar to what Brighton have, where they just managed to recruit and pick these rare gems up from anywhere. And I can't say his name now. Nori has been absolutely quality, and he got another assist under his belt. One for the dream teams, FPL. If you
another
do
good
that,
left back. It's been something for super left backs this season.
honestly. But yeah, I'll give. I don't want to obviously take anything away from the performance because they played very, very well, but they were against obviously a poor relegated Leicester side, a really poor one too. I was hoping when Ruvan Nistelrooy came in, because I like Ruvan Nistelrooy. He was one of them players I used to watch growing up, and I just wanted him to be able to try and turn it around or even give a fighting chance. But I just feel like it's just not going for him at all. Obviously, Jamie Vardy has come out now and said he will be leaving Leicester at the end of the season as well. So Mr. Leicester himself is leaving.
Yeah, missed a penalty as well, didn't he?
Exactly. Exactly. So I think there's a little bit on his mind, obviously for fans as well. I think they knew what were coming, but it's never nice, obviously, when you lose such a legend like that of the game. But yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Wolves because they've been so good. Obviously, as we said, Pereira has completely gone under the radar, but honestly, the football they play, it just excites me so much. It really, really does. Fantastic. Cunha, you know my love for Cunha. Everyone does on this podcast. It weren't as sassy as well, which I like. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the feist about him, but I think he just needs to settle down.
It's the line, isn't it? Just on the line would be
especially
ideal.
When you're so loyal to him and stick with him throughout the season in your dream team, and then you just have to take him out because it's got to the point now where I don't know whether he's coming or going, whether he'll be getting sent off, whether he'll be getting booked. So, as much as he's a brilliant player, come on, if you are watching this, Cunha, please give me a break. I'm a loyal girl. I've stuck by you this long, but come on. But yeah, it was brilliant in this game. I love seeing him back. Obviously, he scored a goal, but he got 2 assists as well. Strand Larsen, I did mention last time I was on. I think he's done such a good job this season, especially when Cunha has been suspended. He scored a really good goal too. And obviously, the last one was from a defender, Rodrigo Gomez. So it's always nice when a defender scores. You know, my love for defenders as well. They're like my favourite players, defenders. So yeah, it was really good. As I mentioned as well, at Nori with another assist too. And I just feel like this Wolves team, even if they do end up losing Cunha, because I feel like it does seem pretty nailed on now that Manchester United are interested in him. There's been a lot of talks here and there with Cunha. I think he wants to move as well. I think that was one of the reasons he did sign that long-term contract, because as much as he wasn't at Wolves for long, I think he does really care about Wolves. I think he wants to move, but he wants them to get a good amount of money for him, so they'll be able to obviously utilise that and put that into the team. But I feel like with Wolves, if they did lose Cunha, with the money and with how Pereira's playing and the players that are getting picked up, I don't think they'd be at massive risk. I think they could easily pick someone up, and even with Strand Larsen, I know, is he only on loan? No.
It's only on loan, yeah. I don't know if there's a loan to buy. That's the thing. I don't know.
Whether they could maybe do that if they did lose Cunha, obviously try and get back to buy the player himself. But yeah, I love watching Wolves. I think they're an absolute pleasure to watch, and it's just really nice. It's really nice because obviously at the start, I was like, oh, Gary O'Neill, what is he doing? What is he doing? Like, he's got all these fantastic, great players, but he's not getting the best out of these players. And obviously he's come along now and he's playing this amazing football, and it's just a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, they've been very good, and interesting what it'll be like with a transfer window, as you said, with Cunha looking like he's going to go. But that would have imagined he'd open up quite a significant finance for other players to come in and to boost that squad further. And I think that just shows, and we've mentioned it on previous weeks, and obviously with Ipswich now being confirmed down as well, so we now have the 3 promoted sides going down. This is the gap. This is the teams that you're looking to catch are people like Wolves, you know, that are very good. Like, you know, you look at the kind of teams that are there. There are teams that are struggling, not having the greatest seasons by there, but they're still 15 points clear of the teams that are at the bottom. You know, you wouldn't have expected West Ham to be there at the start of the season. Certainly not Spurs or United. And say, you know, Everton now have got a different outlook, new stadium moving in, things are looking better, the owners. So even that, like in the past, you're looking at who's the team that you pick off, and there's no, you know, Palace, even when Palace at the start of the season were having that dodgy start, and we were going, well, yeah, but Palace, they do this. And then suddenly they kind of galvanise themselves together and look like a really good side again, which they have done again the second half of the season. Brentford, as long as Thomas Frank's there, are going to be more than fine. Like, very difficult to pick anything up for the teams that come up.
I think as well, I know a few of us have come on this podcast and said it with Wolves. The problem were with Wolves at the start of the season, the defence, that was what really were letting them down, because I feel like they were scoring goals. Obviously, the quality was there, up front, and they were having quite a lot of chances, but they were leaking a lot of goals. And since obviously now they've tweaked that defence, and I think they did bring a couple of players in, since then they have actually been quite solid defensively compared to what they were like. And if maybe that happened that little bit sooner, they could have possibly been a little bit more higher up, because I feel like they were never lacking that quality up front. It was just the defensive side what were really letting them down. I felt like they didn't really have the legs, especially with like your Craig Dawsons and things like that there. I think that's what really struggled. It was like aging legs there at the back, what didn't really fit the system.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he did bring in a couple of players in sort of January that have made a sort of difference to bolster that squad. And they played January really well, Wolves did. So, yeah, really good for them. An excellent win. And then let's have a little look. What other games haven't we covered? We'll go from there. Oh, Brighton, of course. Brighton 3, West Ham 2. That's where we'll go into next, where there was some superb goals in this one. And it was a headline dream as well. And I'm sure, this is the challenge to Graham in the chat, who loves a good one-liner. Believers winner. Surely there is a one-liner around there, or a headline that you can come up with. Believers winner. But what did you make? I know you sort of made some notes on this one, Charles. Brighton 3, West Ham 2. I liked all the goals, but the one I did like, the header back for Matoma's head. I love a good 1-2 header. Do you know what I mean? You don't see enough of them. The old cross header back across and the header in. I love that. That's old school.
Oh, Matoma. I will get onto him very soon, because he's another one I rave about. But I have made some notes, by the way. I do apologise if it does look like I'm reading from my phone, but with all the different leagues and everything, I always have to make notes so I don't end up talking about
covered about 17 different leagues this week by the time she's finished.
I don't want to get mixed up and like cover some National League South game on this pod. So, but the first goal I thought was really good as well. Ayari scoring in the 13th minute outside of the box. He had a shot, and I don't know if any of you've seen it. It was like a proper curler. As soon as it hit, it like spun and went in the top corner, and what an absolute peach of a goal that was. I wanted to mention as well, obviously, young Jack Hinselwood, he got an assist too. I think he played really well that game. Bit frustrating for West Ham. They did have chances, to be fair, but Brighton did go in at half-time 1-0 up. And then 3 minutes after the break, Graham Potter must have had words with them, because 3 minutes after the break, it was a great start for West Ham. Somebody who we all love on this podcast, we all think is brilliant. We've all said should play for England as well. He has been picked recent times, but Jared Bowen, he put the ball across for Kudos, who did meg the keeper. I don't know if any of you saw this.
He was, yeah.
But what an absolute peach of a goal he megged the keeper.
I felt for the keeper with that one as well, because normally it looked bad because he put his arms down, but you were like, he would never have expected that angle to come at him. So I did feel bad because it looked awful. But to be fair, he didn't have a chance.
It did. And then obviously after that, Brighton did make some substitutions. He brought on Matoma, Minter, Gruder and Gomez, some real quality to try and obviously win the game. But despite bringing all of those players on, it was actually West Ham who then went and took the lead in the 83rd minute. And I feel like whenever they need an important, vital goal, Thomas Souček is that man. Like, he just pops up with some really vital goals, doesn't he? Very good player as well. But yeah, heartbreak for the home fans it was, until a very mental last few minutes of the game. Gruder is getting a shout out from me, by the way. 2 assists in 3 minutes. An equalising goal from one, as I've mentioned, one of my favourite players in the Premier League, Matoma. Just the quality of him is another level. I love watching him as well. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And every time I watch him, he surprises me with what he does. Like, where they have picked him up from, it's just exceptional. And we've said it season upon season, haven't we, about Matoma? I feel like he just gets better and better.
He's picked up this season, after last season a little bit sort of off, but this season, we've seen signs again of what a good player he is.
Definitely. But yeah, a very, very late winner for Brighton. Belieber obviously breaking the Hammers fans' hearts, despite not long before they all thought they were going home with the 3 points. So a very, very mental game at the end of that. But I do feel like Brighton were deserving. I thought they had quite a lot of chances. West Ham, I thought they played better than what I've seen in previous games, but Brighton, they were really deserving of the 3 points. And it's always good, isn't it? It's always limbs doing it so late on in a game.
There's nothing like a last minute win. It does get the excitement going. Of course, we set Graham up, and I thought he might go in this direction, and he has. He says, I didn't think Brighton would win, being 2-1 down in the 89th minute, but then I saw his face, and now I'm a believer. Very good, Graham. Very good. Didn't let us down at all, and so a good from looking like it was disaster to a great win for Brighton, and they are now winning what I'm calling, as well as the battle for 14th, Rebecca. We've got in the bottom half of the top, the battle of the bees. Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford are all there close enough. Brentford with a game in hand, and who's going to finish top in the battle of the bees in the middle of the table? So we're trying to add some spice because the top's done and the bottom's done. So we're adding some. You've got the Champions League, Europa League spaces, the battle for 14 and the battle of the bees going on. But yeah, really, really good win for them. Rebecca, though, what's West Ham? Obviously, the switch to Graham Potter. It's not really happened, has it? Nothing's kind of clicked. There seems to be, as you said, Souček does still come up with goals and things, but it just Kudus hasn't quite been as exciting this season. It hasn't happened. What's going on with Mr. Potter and West Ham?
It just seems to be like it's not gelled, and I feel as though like that's the issue of they're not playing the way that they could. Like, we all see the talented players that West Ham have. We've seen how the likes of David Moyes had them playing, and like during that time they were in winning Europa Conference, weren't it? I think, yeah. So it's like you're seeing that, and then it's the drop off now of they're down near the bottom. They can't get a run together, and they are now showing gaps and issues that they've got. And I do just feel as though it's just not gelling, and the style of play that he's trying to implement on them just isn't working for them types of players. And I feel as though like there is going to be a change that is needed if West Ham want to be away from where they are now. And I do feel as though it's going to have to be him leaving, because it's just, I don't think it's going to get better unless, because even if he's to add to it, he's still got the issue of if he can't get the players that he's currently got to work in the way that he's trying, then adding to it might just make it worse. Because you just don't know how like the new players could gel with the likes of Jarrod Bowen. And then you've also got the case of, if we all know how talented Jarrod Bowen is, to have him not performing at like what we all know he can, it just shows that there are issues within that side.
It definitely are issues, and there's still, as you said, there's still, you look at the squad, it's still, there's still some good players in there. The one I think that they do miss, and it's kind of got overlooked a little bit. There's the sad, obviously, Michail Antonio with the car crash that he had. It's kind of been glossed over quite a bit, and Antonio, I think, was always one of those like.
Sorry. Charlie have gone 1-0 up against Kingsland.
It's Charlie 1-0 up.
Dorking now 3-2 against Boreham Wood.
There we go. It's all going on. All going on in these playoffs.
It was my face, weren't it, man? They've got a free kick as well, Solihull, so it might be a swear word in a minute.
It's 360 drama. But I thought it hasn't really got a lot of coverage, really. And I think I always felt with Antonio, he was one of those like seen as like a journeyman Premier League striker where he didn't always get the respect, but actually it was quite an important spearhead for West Ham in that team. While his goal rate was good, so it was never going to be exceptional. I think they all got excited because they had Fulquid coming in this season. That's not really worked. Well, West Ham have like the worst record for me in buying strikers and them being effective. There's just sort of a conveyor belt of them that come in. That Scamacca, wasn't it, the other season? Didn't sort of quite sort of do everything everybody thought, and they sort of come and go quite quickly. And I just feel, and I feel just sad for that situation, because it's just like, I don't think there's been enough kind of made of it. The fact that, he could have lost his life at the end of the day, Antonio, and there's question marks whether he comes back or what happens. And I think it's quite poignant because I watched the Freddie Flintoff. I know this is not football, but the Freddie Flintoff documentary on Disney the other day, and it's amazing. Like a moment like that can change somebody's life and change the family's life and everything around it. And so I hope Antonio gets better. But from a West Ham perspective on the pitch, it's just not happening, is it? And as you said, Rebecca, they've got a real conundrum this summer. They stick with Potter and then they're going to have to back him to get what they need, but then it's going to have to work. And then you worry a bit for Graham Potter if this doesn't work out, because then obviously you've got Chelsea and West Ham in his last two jobs. Where does he go from there? Like it's a difficult kind of conundrum, and it's really kind of turned for him. So does he go into Europe? Are we talking about then he's going to the Championship, or is he going to sort of then be looking at somebody who's come up? It's a difficult one and a difficult sell, I think. So I think everyone went Potter West Ham. What makes a lot of sense. I can see that, but it just hasn't been the case, has it?
Do you not feel like they're two of the worst clubs as well to possibly do that? Obviously, Chelsea and West Ham, because they're the type of clubs that will not give you time. Like, I feel like, especially with West Ham now, and I know the amazing stuff that obviously they've done. They used to be up there, like challenging and stuff, but I feel like the fans have become a little bit entitled, and I thought a lot of us,
moved,
the expectations, and I feel like when you had David Moyes there, and I always thought he did a really good job there, David Moyes, and obviously he won that cup, but even despite winning the cup, they still had that sense of entitlement, like we need to get a bigger name in and play better football. They obviously brought Lopetegui in. That didn't work out. They've now brought Graham Potter in, and I feel like Graham Potter is more of a project manager, and they do need to give him time, like what he did at Brighton as well. But I feel like with West Ham in particular, they're a club that will not allow that, because there'll be fans like at him. They'll still want that. They'll still want to be around and about, and like we said, the expectations. So I feel like with Potter, it's not really a club that will allow him to build and kind of let him do his thing for a couple of seasons and then take him to the next level. I feel like with West Ham fans, they do become that little bit more. They try and push for a new manager, and they try and push to drive someone out because they feel like they should be getting better. And to be fair, from a West Ham point of view, and on paper, the players they have, they should be doing a lot better. I expected them, and I think I predicted them at the start of the season to have a fantastic season, because some of the names he was signing, I thought that's really good. And obviously the name Lopetegui, I thought they're going to have a great season here. They could be pushing for Europe. But I feel a little bit for Graham Potter, because I feel like he could be that perfect manager for them if they allowed him time and allowed him to bring players in. But I just don't think they will, with it being West Ham.
Yeah, and the way that they're set, as you said, and I think it's really interesting that you see, like we saw it obviously with sort of De Zerbi, wasn't it? A lot of people sort of pushing for him to make the step and to do it, and managers that get to that point and that they're at a club with sort of no disrespect, but aren't going to be sort of, in that kind of, they want to take the next steps, you say. They're in that kind of next push, and teams are looking, and it doesn't always work out. And then if it doesn't, then you're struggling, and it is kind of you're then on your bike. And I think the one I think is really interesting is Thomas Frank at Brentford.
Yes.
Because he's the perfect example of like a club model and that manager, and everything works well and it works perfectly, and his methods are so ingrained in what they do. You suddenly like put him somewhere else to try and do that. Are they going to be accepting? Are they won't have the model that Brentford have in terms of where they recruit, and it all just works perfectly. And sometimes you have that perfect storm, and sometimes it's a case of better stay, or do you want to make the sort of step up, or can you do it? I mean, you see, like probably the last person to do it successfully is probably Eddie Howe, like at Newcastle, to do that and to sort of step in terms of who's come through the Premier League rather than coming from overseas. Because you look at the top, Liverpool, Arne Slot, you've got, say, Pep's been there forever. Okay, Maresca got the jump up to sort of Chelsea from Leicester, and say while they've had a good season, it's still early days probably, and we know what Chelsea are like. Who knows what they'll do? There's the potential that might change. So it's a real difficult one. And so we say here, We've got a moment.
Boreham Wood free, Dorking Wanderers free.
Haven't they got 10 men as well? I think I saw in the chat as well, Dorking.
Wow.
That's an absolute cracker. Richard says, I think they have the squad of players that do not fit the manager style, a bit like Man United and Amrin. Teams need to give a manager time and backing. Nick says winning the UEFA, the Conference League should have been a springboard for West Ham. Sadly, the springboard snapped. And I think Nick made another point earlier here. Yeah, West Ham's problems seem to be more off-field, and the move to the London Stadium has been a curse. I mean, we've seen it with teams that move stadium. It's very difficult. Moving from the Boleyn Ground to that is very different. I know down here from Southampton, it's been it was when they moved to St Mary's, the atmosphere was different. You've seen it with Arsenal, with Tottenham. You know where I'm coming here, don't you, Rebecca? Who's got a new stadium coming up next season? How are you feeling about that move? Is there a bit of trepidation? Because I know we've talked about it's exciting. Do you worry a little bit that you're going to be able to generate the Goodison days?
I feel as though with how we've made the new ground, it does sort of replicate Goodison with how close we are still to the pitch. Because it's that's one thing that fans have always put forward when we were looking at the building of the new ground is we want it to be as close as possible so then we can still try and create the same atmosphere that we've got at Goodison. It is going to be one of them where I don't think anyone's going to feel like they're going to a home game for ages, and I feel that's going to have the effect on it because it was like when we went to the second test event, it didn't feel like we were going to watch Everton. I mean, it was just... I know it's a test event, but there was nothing Everton about it, is what we felt. With the Gladys Street, you've got Everton at the top of it on the seats. You've got EFC in the park end. There's loads of different things like that. There was nothing like that at this one. And I feel as though, we are going to try and take as much as we can from Goodison to Bramley. And I feel as though, fans are just going to try and do whatever they can. I mean, we have the best fan group. I think it's the... I can't remember the name of it now. I think it's 1868 group. And they are putting together loads of different banners and projects together, which we've seen at Goodison, and we're hoping that will continue over to Bramley. But we are I know I'm very nervous for the move, and I don't feel like it's ever going to feel right for a while because it's just not Goodison. It's not the uniqueness of... We're no longer going to feel top balcony shake when we score and you feel like you're going to fly off, or there's just loads of little things that aren't going to be the same. Whether we can still generate the atmosphere will be something which will be tested as well. But I feel as though because we have upped the capacity as well, that's going to be interesting. I think we could have gone more than what we have because I think we've only gone up to 56. And I feel as though we could have pushed for about 60, but it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, very, very nervous for it, but hopefully it'll be exciting. But I think everyone will always just miss Goodison, and I think the best way to describe it is the uniqueness of it.
Yeah.
It's a new stadium, a new bounce. And the question I have when you move there at the Bramley Stadium is, will they serve apple pies? Will there be Bramley apple pies at the Bramley Dock Stadium? Is what I want to know. So let me know on day one, Rebecca, if there's any apple pies on sale. Because I think there should be.
We still don't know what it's going to be called. Because at the moment it's just been
not actually named it.
At the moment, it's just being referred to as Everton Stadium, and then some it gets referred to as Bramley Moor Dock because of where it is.
Are they waiting for a sponsor? Do you think so? It's going to be like the I don't know, the What's It Stadium or whoever you can get.
Really not sure. I hope that we will get at least a decent name, or if it's to stay as the Everton Stadium, then that'd be great because it is just. But I feel as though I think the stands have names, but depending on that, they could change because it's Everton Legends could be named as well. So there's still quite a few tweaks that need to be made. But I think one thing that fans want is the food prices to potentially go down because that was quite expensive at the test event. But they did do good donuts, but you did end up being stained blue afterwards.
That's not ideal. Heather says the Poundland Stadium. Isn't that Walsall?
Yeah, that is Walsall.
Poundland. Yeah, the Poundland Stadium. Yeah,
I experienced that on Saturday.
This is it. You've made it to and from Poundland. We'll see. We will see indeed. But it does take us on. I think we've got a couple more games to go. And Heather says 16 years ago last Friday, Bournemouth nearly dropped out the Football League. 1 goal from Steve Fletcher saved our club. The great escape that was. But on Sunday, it was Rasmus Højlund who saved a point. I'm celebrating a draw because Bournemouth have absolutely tonked us in terms of results in recent times. I think literally we have the most awful record, and deservedly so, because they've battered us a couple of times at Old Trafford. And to be honest, were battering us for a fair portion of that game. Not as much as previous games, but they were by far the better team. I'm sure Heather will give us her comments in a minute. But the referee across the board, I think others think the ref was celebrating too. I have to say the referee was really bad across the entire game for both teams. I thought he was dreadful. There was decisions. The red card for me wasn't a red card. The Evan Nilsson one, I thought that was harsh. I thought, and a few people I spoke to, Tyler Adams, I thought probably should have gone. I thought that tackle was high. It was jumped in. There was a second foot involved. I think I saw Casemiro got sent off for one last season. 9 minutes extra time. I don't know where that came from. Patrick Dorgu got a booking when he tackled the ball. He sort of nicked it off and then he got booted in the shins and got booked for it right in front of the assistant referee. And you just think it was just one of those where we always say about referee consistency. He was consistently bad. It was a consistent performance, but it wasn't the greatest consistent thing. And Bournemouth will be more frustrated because that then sort of meant that United kind of pushed on them at the end of the game. And we got a goal, a Rasmus Højlund goal. And, And one thing I want to point out, and I think it's interesting because we've said this. We said this, I think, in a non-league show. I saw you guys were talking about it yesterday, and sort of player support. And I think something else has happened. There's another. Oh my word! It's all going off. It's chaos.
Wow, we all voted for Dorking to get through, so I think we might have jinxed them. Sorry, Mark White, if you're watching. Love you.
Oh dear, it's absolute chaos. That's crazy, isn't it? What an absolute crazy game that is. Not long to go either. Drama. Heather says that they're appealing Evan Nilsson's red card. I'm not surprised, to be honest, with that one. They are. But the point I want to make for the United perspective, you said supporting players, Shah. Rasmus Højlund, okay, is not going to be, I don't think, our starting striker. We hope then going into next season with kind of what we've kind of seen. But obviously he's a man he's still a young guy who's devoid of any confidence whatsoever. For the Premier League for United has been done for a little while, and their only hope of galvanising something of this season that they need is to somehow win the Europa League, which is a big question mark anyway, because I think Bilbao's a tough ask. However, that's what they've got in front of them. And what we need a striker that feels a bit of confidence, even if I didn't care if it went off his arse or his elbow, or it was 10 yards offside and it was given, as long as it was and he got that confidence. And then you saw people well, he should be scoring. That's his job. Or it's it's come off his, but it was a rubbish. And you just go in, the guy needs some love. What do you want? Do you want him to succeed? The bottom line is we haven't got any other striker we can play apart from Harry Maguire in the last 10 minutes against Bilbao. That's your option. So you have to give this and get behind the guy to try and do 100%. Something. And it may not be good enough and it may not be what it is, but that's what you have in front of you at this moment in time. He's the striker. He scored a goal. And that's what you want. You want him a bit of, but people just trying to just sort of kill the lad. We know that he's been on an awful run. We know that the level's not where it should be. In not just the past, but you look across the Premier League, it's difficult. But he scored a goal, and still he gets kind of caned for it. So just hope it gives a bit of stability. Because for United, they need they need the Europa League as a way into the Champions League to open the finances, to try and do what they need to do in the summer to try and close some of that gap and do what they need to do to back Amorim. But there we go.
What gets me as well with it at United is yes, we finished 4th. It's official. Sorry. Yay.
They've done it.
We've done it. We've finished above Oldham officially as well. I know. But yeah, the thing is, we were talking about it obviously on a non-league show about people on social media and how I always say, if you are a fan and you are paying your hard-earned money, you have a right to criticize performances to an extent because you are there paying your money.
100%,
whether it be ticket money, whether it be a subscription to Sky, TNT, whatever you're doing, you are more than entitled to have your say about a performance. But what you are not entitled to do to anybody, like on this earth, is it be horrible, like to kind of drag a person down, whether it be about the looks, whether it be about the religion, the gender, obviously the sexuality. You don't do that. And I'm a strong believer in thinking that, like, nobody has a God-given right to make anybody feel like crap. Basically, it's not fair. And obviously, I've stuck up for Dale. Sorry, I nearly dropped my cup then. I think it's the excitement. Dale, I've always stuck up for Dale players. Whether I think they played bad or not, I'll always stick up for them as a person because I do not believe that they should be obviously ridiculed as a person, kind of thing. And that's on a small spectrum at the end of the day. So Rasmus Højlund is a whole kettle of fish now. You think there's so many United fans out there. There's the whole Premier League fans as a whole. Worldwide is a name like everybody knows because it's out there in the Premier League. It's an international superstar as well. So it's not even good being a National League player and getting that criticism. But you think being someone like playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, which Manchester United still are, despite them struggling, they are still up there as one of the biggest, if not the biggest club in the world. So I think people just need to be a little bit more respectful on that. Yeah, he's not having a great time at the moment. He's still quite young. He's still obviously adapting. And you think the style of football that he's played, even though he's been at the club, he's never really had until Amarim's come in a certain style of football, because I don't think Ten Hag even had a style of football, to be fair, really, did he? So he's still adapting to all these different managers as well, Rasmus Højlund. And I don't think he's going to be a prolific striker. I just don't think he is. Like, maybe in a different league, it might be different. But at the minute, this is all you've got. And it's like with Xerxes at one point. Everyone were criticising Xerxes, but then you could see glimpses of that little bit of quality that he does have, and people started to get behind him. And I just think they need to do the same with Højlund. And who knows what will happen at the end of the season? Will he stay? Will he end up going to kind of free up funds to bring another player in? It might stay, and pressure might be off him if obviously bring another forward in as well. Because I feel like the pressure is on Rasmus Højlund at the minute. Like, I don't think it helped with the price tag of Højlund as well. No. It was quite big for the player of someone you didn't really know about, but I feel like that's been Manchester United recently.
It's been the problem with the recruitment. Exactly. As you said, like, he was a player, he was a developing player, and all of a sudden, because of the fee that we bought him for, he had to become the man. And it was like, well, he wasn't. He looked at the stats and the such, and we saw glimpses in the first season that were better than this season and such. And then obviously he hasn't progressed this season, and as you said, confidence, etc. But you can't, as you said, you can't. I wonder what you think you're doing to the player when you're kind of like completely sort of belittling the sound and like the fact he celebrated, and it was, was he celebrating? Because it was relief. It was relief a bit of moment. Yeah, and if you're a United fan, you want a striker that he might get a chance in the Europa League. There might be something that falls, and you hope that confidence might be enough to do something with it. It might not, but like, you have to kind of take what you can and try and help with it. So yeah, I don't think he will be the starting striker next season. I think he'll either, because the options aren't great, they'll either keep him as a backup off, or maybe he has a loan move or something, and then see, as you said, maybe another 12 months or something in Europe, he's away from all that buzz and he can develop himself. Then you come back and you've got a different player. And like Richard says, maybe players can develop in different ways. Joe Linton got a lot of grief, he said, at Newcastle, and became a different player, adapted him into midfield, and has now been absolutely fantastic for Newcastle, no doubt. So
I feel like there's a pressure on Højlund. If you brought in another striker, like a support striker and stuff. But I feel like with Højlund, it does get more of a stick when I actually watched a podcast last week as well, and Hannah was writing everything she said about Garnacho and stuff. I don't think Garnacho's as good as what
decision making problem.
Yeah. And I think he gets off a lot lightly than some of the things, obviously, with Højlund. And I feel like with Højlund, if he had that little bit more of support or another player, obviously, helping him, like a Cunha or someone like that, or somebody who could maybe bring out the best in Højlund as well. I just think at the moment, there's so much pressure on him. And even when, obviously, Xerxes was fit and stuff as well, I still feel like there was a hell of a lot of pressure on Højlund, and I think a lot of it was because of a price tag. But yeah, people need to chill out with him.
Well, and as Nick says here, was Rasmus Højlund chosen on just one season in Italy? It's not good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was the previous recruit. That was pre-Ineos recruitment. That was it in a nutshell. That was the same kind of things that we were doing for the previous sort of 5 years and such, and then even back into the Woodward days. But it was, we needed to do something, and they went big. They went big on that sort of young player where. The reality is everyone was kind of screaming for Harry Kane at that point, which might have been what to do. Sorry, Rebecca, you wanted to add.
No, it was just like I completely agree with everything like you've both said in terms of like you just need to support the player, because at the end of the day, the effect that comments have on players is clear. Like, I know this isn't the lower league show, but I am just going to briefly touch on something. There was a vote for the worst keeper in the whole of League Two, which was given to the Accrington keeper. And it's like the effect that has now had on him. He is out injured as well at the minute. And it's like the effect that is having on him, but then also the effect it has on the squad as well. And it just shows that, like, everyone is allowed an opinion at the end of the day, but you've just got to be careful how you word this opinion, because you don't know how that could affect that player. And it's one of them where no matter what, you've got to support your team. If you're not happy, then like, it is what it is. We all go through rough patches with the team, but you still stick by them, and you do just have to support them, because it's like if it was the other way around and the players were hurling abuse at the fans, like, the fans aren't going to stand there and take it. So it's one of them. It's like, you just need to just support your team at the end of the day, and then you'll get the best out of them, and then you'll get what you want to see from them, rather than just starting to attack them.
Could you imagine that the players get to vote for the worst fan of the season award as well, and sort of like hand it out as a
That'd be quite funny.
Flip it on its head. It'd be crazy, but this is it. Support your team, even if they're 14th. Support.
I think we should do that. I'm actually gonna, next time I go to a CAB meeting at Dale, I'll be like, right, I'm sick of all our players getting criticised by fans, so they have the right now to start going, like, at the game as well, going up to a random fan and going, you've not supported us that great today. Your singing's not been that great.
I've watched you there, just stood there, drinking your coffee, not even any energy or whatever, looking negative. Yeah,
exactly. Do you know what? I'm all for it now.
We're gonna change the game.
You just know if that was happen, fans would kick off. Like, if players were allowed to have a say on the fans, then fans would kick off. So it's one of them where if you don't want that to happen or anything, just support your team.
This is it. Support your team.
It's like when players stick up for themselves at fans. Say that fans are hurling abuse at him and a player then sticks up for himself. The amount of times fans are like, oh, no, he shouldn't have done that. He came over screaming and shouting at me, or he came over and said something. Well, you've been there for that 90-plus minutes shouting nothing but abuse at that player. I'd get annoyed as well. Like, there's been times where someone, especially, sorry, I'm turning it into lower league now, at Pyro in particular, and I've just turned around to him and be like, I'm glad he's bit back. I'm glad he did that celebration at all you fans, because you, throughout the season, have been hurling nothing but abuse at him. Fair play. If you can sit there or stand there and shout abuse at a player, you should be able to then take it back off that player. They should be able to defend themselves. Like
they're the first ones when they're like, I can't believe you celebrated like that. And you're like, well, yeah, because he's responding to the fact that you've acted like a knob. So
exactly.
he's giving it back to you. Fair enough. And so Richard says, for me, I'll always support the players in my club to the hill unless they do something absolutely atrocious. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And then and
yeah, that's
says,
true.
that's fair enough. There is a line, as long as they be a decent human at the end of the day, like you can't go full in on them. But apart from Cunha, we see what Cunha's getting extra.
He's allowed to take that Ipswich member of staff's glasses just because he's Cunha.
Extra yard. And Graham says there needs to be more accountability for online posts. If there are repercussions, then people won't be so brave to make awful statements. Yeah, it's not very, very, very nice. We'll bring up the table because I think we've covered everything. The only one we didn't touch on, Newcastle 3, Ipswich 0. Really good sort of victory for Newcastle Ipswich. It's a sad one, isn't it, Shah? It's ended as I think we all expected. But off the back of 2 promotions, we kind of everyone had this in our predictions, I think, this year. Sadly,
I think we all kind of got that attachment to him, like we did with Luton last season, didn't we? And we all, even though we knew it was always going to happen, you still have that little bit of hope, and you kind of get attached to the smaller teams who come up, don't you? Bless them. But they've got some really good players as well, though, to be fair, Ipswich. I hope they manage to keep a lot of them. I know, obviously, Delat is one that a lot of people are interested in. I think is Manchester United interesting as well?
There's quite a few. I think we spoke last week, but there's quite a low release clause on him. So I think there's a number of teams that are looking at him because he's affordable.
Yeah.
And a good potential for the future.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, from a Newcastle point of view as well, first of all, it was great seeing Eddie Howe back. Obviously, I know he's been poorly. So, on Ipswich as well, they actually tweeted it saying it's good to see, obviously, Eddie Howe back. I thought that was a really nice touch.
100%.
But Newcastle, I think, am I right in saying you've gone up to 3rd now? Newcastle, with obviously Forest being in the cup.
They are indeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
the table's in front of me. I didn't even know it.
Who's that team in 3rd?
That is a proper Charlotte moment, that. I'm quite embarrassed now. I've had a mare there. But yeah, they've gone up to 3rd. Obviously, Isak scoring a penalty, someone who's in fantastic form at the minute. I know he struggles with a lot of injuries, but I'm so glad that he's managed to stay fit for a lot of the season. I think he's someone we've obviously really, really needed. But yeah, doing what he does best. Dan Burn as well. I'm always really happy when Dan Burn pops up with a goal. I don't know why. I just feel like he's Mr. Newcastle kind of thing. And obviously in the cup as well, when he scored, it just made me smile. But
did I see somewhere something he had a forfeit or something he had to do with his brother if he didn't score in the Premier League or something? So I think he was more relieved that he got out at the end of the season forfeit for a Premier League goal than anything else.
Yeah. Really happy, obviously, to see him score. And then William Asula got the 3rd goal. For them as well. So different scorers, fantastic result, obviously, for Newcastle. But yeah, Ipswich, bless them. Going back to the Championship, but to be fair, I think they will be able to do quite well in the Championship. I think they've got a really good manager in Kieran McKenna. I think he's going to stay there, and we saw them, obviously, what they did in the Championship last season, and I think they'll have another good season next season, to be fair to them. They're a really good club, Ipswich, and I'm glad they're going back up again, because obviously they did have a couple of difficult years, obviously then going down to League One, so it's nice to see them where they belong.
This is it.
Obviously, before they've been relegated again, obviously. That sounded really, really tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The club's getting better and better.
It does get better and better. And they spent a lot of money last year, so they have got sort of a lot of players there that, I'd say lots will leave, obviously, and things will change because they've gone back down. But it's a good one. And they're not just like Thursday night, Char. They just like being covered on the Thursday night with the rowdy rabble. So they can't, you can't blame them for that. Scoreline coming in the Champions League: Arsenal 0, PSG 1. It's a big blow for Arsenal losing that first leg at the Emirates for It was the first semi-final since that 2009 one that they played Manchester United, where Ronaldo scored that free kick from about 45 yards. Which is crazy to think how long ago that was when they say 2009. That's Arsenal's first. So they've got it all to do in Paris. All to do in Paris. So I think that's next Wednesday, possibly. Don't know. Might be next Wednesday. The other one, another team that has struggled this season, Southampton 1, Fulham 2. Southampton looked like there was another point closer to away from that record, and then it just slipped away again. And Fulham, good battle inside. It's just not going to happen, is it? You feel for Saints. I feel for the Saints fans. I know they start getting bits of hope. Last few weeks, they keep getting moments, don't they?
I think, was it like Harry Wilson was back for Fulham as well at weekend after his injury, so that was positive for them.
Yeah, this is it. It is a positive. It's just been a sad season for them, but they're coming to Thursday nights as well. So there's the table. There it is. Of course, Liverpool are top, but the logo's over the points, so we don't know whether they've won it or not. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Come back next week, find out.
Yeah, find out. Liverpool have, won the title.
Remove them like we do PSG.
Yeah, PSG, gone. It's done now.
Next thing you know, Liverpool are at the bottom in relegation. Well, how's that happen?
How's that happen? There's been a graphical error. Never mind. Arsenal are in second place, of course, playing tonight in the Champions League. And then the exciting race for the European places with Newcastle leading the way as well. They're in third, 62 points. Manchester City fourth, 61 points. Chelsea's win, so we talked about it from an Everton view, but that was a good win for them to get that win. Their form's picked up a little bit. They are picking wins up kind of quietly. 60 points. Nottingham Forest now down in sixth at 60 points. I'd be really sad for Forest if they dropped out, having the fantastic season that they've had. And Villa not out of it either on 57 points, sat in seventh. We do know the top five are now going to be Champions League places, so that is good news. And then at the bottom, as we've already said, Ipswich sadly relegated alongside Leicester City and Southampton. So there we go. And then we have a question for Rebecca in the chat, and important questions come in. As we approach Rebecca and her Scottish roundup, are the world's neatest handwriting notes here again. To say, if you're new to us, Rebecca has some of the neatest handwriting I think I've ever seen ever. Look, in terms of note writing, that's just insanity, absolute insanity. But go on then, Rebecca. Rebecca's going to tell us what's going on up north in the Scottish Premier League.
Yeah. It was the first set of the fixtures in phase 2 of the Scottish Prem because the split happened. They had a weekend off last week. Well, not the week before, depending on how you want to word it, because of the Scottish Cup. But they were back. So starting with the top 6, a 5-0 win for Celtic versus Dundee United, season crowned champions. It was a very eventful match, not only the goals, but also the fact that Celtic fans were protesting against the price of Dundee United's ticket prices, to the point where there were tangerines and footballs thrown onto the pitch. And then back at Celtic, there was a lot of celebrations going on, including a famous duck that I have now found on Twitter as I was scrolling through. They had a duck at the celebrations, and I think he's been there for like the past few that they've won. So, Celtic won the league, and it does see Dundee United drop to 5th. St Mirren came from behind twice to secure a point against Rangers. And Aberdeen now find themselves on equal points with Hibernian after beating them 1-0 with an 80th minute winner from Kevin Nisbet. And then the bottom 6 sees Motherwell securing all 3 points in their 3-2 win against St Johnstone. It was a late comeback for St Johnstone, but they just couldn't get the extra goal that they needed to get a point. So they are still bottom of the table. Kilmarnock earn a 2-0 win against a struggling Ross County side. They've not had the greatest run of form in, as they call it, phase 1. So it's becoming a bit of a scary time for Ross County, especially seeing Dundee beat Hearts 1-0. So, of course, I was very happy. And it sees them move out of the bottom 2 as well. So it's in Dundee's hands now. All they have to do is just keep doing this and we're fine. Ryan Astley was back in the starting 11, so I think everyone knew I would have been happy about that, especially seeing it was even better with them keeping a clean sheet, because that is one thing Dundee have struggled with this season, is defensively. So to be able to keep a clean sheet as well, and I believe Carson, the goalkeeper, got put into the team of the week as well, which was really positive. Of course, Simon Murray doing what Simon Murray does best, helping secure all 3 points with his goal. He's still tied as the leading goal scorer of the Scottish Prem, and he has also been nominated for the Scottish Player of the Season. So with that, there's 3 Celtic players and him that have been nominated, so that's really good. So hopefully this will help give Dundee the momentum to just stay out of the bottom 2. And then I don't have to go through heartbreaking relegation or anything like that. And we can just enjoy the remainder of the season. But yeah, that was a great, great win for them. And even better with Ryan starting and getting a full, I think he played like 91 minutes because they took him off like really late on just to waste a bit of time.
There you go, and looking good, so that Dundee might survive, which is good, because I don't think Rebecca's got enough room on that paper for the Premiership and the Championship. Scotland updates with that wonderful handwriting.
The Championship is getting quite close at the minute. Livingston getting closer to the top of the league as well, which is going to be quite exciting for them. And then also there was the greatest tweet of all time that was posted the other week, where it was in a Livingston match. Can't remember who they were against, but the team got their first shit on target was the tweet rather than shot. So that was quite funny.
Always good. That's always good. It's not messy.
It's dangerous if you get that wrong. I think I said in the chat, if your ratio's out on that, you're in trouble.
Poor goalkeeper.
Poor goalkeeper. I'm just my favourite Scottish team aren't in. I think they're down in the lower leagues now, because when I was younger, I used to like Cowden beef.
Beef?
I thought they were cows and beef. I was like, cows and beef.
I used to be like,
I'm a bit of cows and beef.
I remember one time, right, proper laughing. I was sat with my dad and we were watching, obviously, like all the scores come in, and I started laughing. I went, "Oh, that name's really funny. It was a cow, and then it's beef." You know, like that's what you get if you kill a cow. And I was like, "Oh, that's really good. Who thought of that?" He went, "No, it's not because of that. It's just a team Cowden beef." But I thought it was like a gangster version. Cowden beef.
Cows. These cows got beef.
He's done it many a time where he just looks at me and he thinks, What are you? Like, where did I actually get you from?
We had it as well. We used to be at uni, and we used to back in the days we used to go to the betting shop and get your accumulator slips. Like, we go down there in the morning, and we'd always have, there's a few of us, and we'd have cows and beef on it. Me and my friend Kate used to have it, and we'd be like there. And like, if one of us was in a different room or something, they scored, and I think they were having a good season in like League 2 that year. But like, cows and beef, and the other housemate just used to look at us, being like, "What are you two on?" Literally, it was like cows and beef.
One final thing I know that this is the Premier League show, but the Championship, it's quite interesting towards the bottom of the league as well, because Hamilton were relegated a few weekends ago after receiving a massive points deduction. They have filed their appeal. The appeal hearing is the day before the season ends. So you just know that if anything is to come back where they get points given back to them, that is going to be after the season ends. That will happen. So at the moment they have the R next to their name, but by the end of the season, like a few days after, they may not be relegated, depending on how that goes. So it could get quite interesting towards the bottom of the Scottish Championship as well.
It could be dramatic. Drama. There could be drama. There could be drama amongst us. But there we go. We've had a wonderful show. We've managed to cover it all. We've covered plenty again. We've covered lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. We've been going. Oh, we've done well. I think it's a good show. It's been wonderful.
Covered a lot of leagues, haven't we, as well?
A lot of leagues gone around. Just a few more to add to your list, Char, this week that you can tick off your league coverage. But of course, how can you? My wonderful co-host today. How can you find Char? Where can people find you apart from on here, like every day, talking about football league?
Well, I do apologise to everyone in the chat. Obviously, this is my second of third pods this week. So you can catch me on Absolutely Lower League on Thursday, where we do cover now the EFL Championship, League One and League Two, just those 3 leagues. I am Shah XRFC, that is on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. My Her Game 2 stuff as well is Rochdale HGT. But yeah, if you can't find me, just come here. You can probably find me more than anything.
It's 24-hour streaming. It's like BBC World News. So I was just on at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Freya will have me tomorrow. I might just pop up for a few minutes and say hi and leave.
Hello.
Just start your own random show on Friday as well. Then you've just done all week.
What have you had for your tea?
Chippy Tea Friday. Char's Chippy Tea Friday. And of course, the queen of the underscores, Rebecca. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the podcast on Thursday. Maybe in an emotional one. We will wait and see. But you can find me there. You can find my TikTok and Twitter at _Rebecca_Shaw_. You can find my Her Game 2 content at ASFC Her Game 2. Anything Her Game 2 Ice Hockey is Her Game 2 Ice Hockey. And you can find me with the amazing Jen on the Girls in the Grandstand podcast, covering all things F1.
You can indeed. You certainly can. And you can catch me at Sam Absolute FBL on Twitter, on TikTok, on stuff, on here doing stuff. Say editing now 4 shows a week. There's plenty to do. I'm audios every night sort of now. So it's all going on, but it's all very good because as we find here, the new socials are here. Because, of course, we have not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, but we have 4 live shows a week. We are the best new content creator. And so we've created another best new show to include on that run as well. Mondays, absolutely non-league show now with Shah and the new guys over there. Started last night, going to be going all the way through the playoffs. Really exciting. Do check that one out. Tuesday, the Premier League show, of course, with me, Rebecca, Shah, Grimmy, Lucas, Hannah, whoever we can find on occasion to drag in to talk Premier League football. On Wednesday, you have the Absolutely Women's Football show with, I think it's Freya, Paul, and Chloe. I think this week going to be the 3 talking there. Not Shah.
Watch that one.
Shah's night off tomorrow. And then we have, of course, Thursday where Shah is back on the lower league show with an amalgamation of the rowdy rabble that we don't know yet for Thursday, but there will be plenty of them. It's all at 8:30, so 8:30 is the time for it. You can find us on Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _, Blue Sky Absolute Football, and on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. We are everywhere. Also on Goals TV, which is fun, which is an American streaming platform. So, if you're watching us over there, hello. Thanks for joining us. But as well, thank you to all the wonderful people in the chat. You make it so special and fun to chat football with you, whoever your teams are. So we hope that you're enjoying the football at the end of the season as we get there. But don't miss out, because there's tomorrow, because there's Thursday, there's playoffs, there's Rochdale going to Wembley, there's Everton moving to new stadiums, and there's Slabhead, the forehead of dreams and destinies, with moments to come. What a lad, with moments to come. Have a wonderful week. We will catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.